In this short video, I'm going to show you how to import course content from one course that you have access to as an instructor into another course that you have access to as an instructor. Now, I would also preclude this whole process with the idea that you should not do this unless you are the official person teaching the course that you're pulling the course content into. And otherwise, this sort of process is already taken care of for online courses. This is typically a common thing that folks that teach the same course from term to term or from one year to the next and teach that course face-to-face will do, mostly because they have the same set of content and or resources that they want to pull in from term to term or year to year. And this can apply to the way your gradebook is set up, or it could be applicative to the set of assignments or attachments, those sorts of things that you want to be able to have in your course from term to term each time you teach that face-to-face course. So you're not having to upload that stuff all over again every single time. To begin with, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be in the course that you want to pull the course content into. So here you can see I'm actually in a course that is coming up. We're going to pretend here that I taught this ICEL 2100 course the last time, and so I have been assigned by the university to teach the course in its upcoming term. And so what I want to do then is I just simply want to pull the content from the last time the course was taught into this upcoming term that's going to be taught. And then that would allow me to go through and prep the course site, making sure everything is ready as it should be ahead of the time that the course will begin. So to do this then, I'm in the course that will be taught. So this is not the one in the past, this is the one that's going to be taught upcoming. And to do this then, I have to make sure I've got access to the former course in order to be able to pull the content into the upcoming course. Up here in a separate tab, I already have access to the former course, you can see here. And I know this by going into the site info area and checking to see that I'm actually the one listed as an instructor in the site. So I'll go back to the course that's coming up, and we're going to go and do this all by way of site info. So we're going to select site info, and then we're going to go over here to import from site. And we're going to choose to replace my data. So essentially this overwrites all of the data that's in there for the things that I want to import. So if I'm importing, say, my gradebook, and I tell it to replace everything, then everything in the gradebook will get replaced in this course, this upcoming course. So I also tell folks this, that it's important to know that if you start doing some work in that upcoming course site, and then you do this process and you tell it in this prior step, that you want to, this prior step here, that you want to replace the data, then it will replace everything. You can see there any existing data will be overwritten and replaced by the imported data. Now there is another option here to merge the data, but I can't promise you about how the merge function will work between gradebook and assignments. If you do it with assignments, for example, or testing quizzes, you may actually end up with duplicates of all the assessments or duplicates of all those assignments. And then it becomes a very tedious process to try and work through all of it. So I typically go through and replace the data. Then in the list of the sites that I am an instructor in, these are the courses I'm enlisted as an instructor in, I'm just going to use my browser's find and look for the other entries. There are two entries on this. There's this one here for ICEL 2100, and then as I use my other find, it's further down here. So I'm going to select that course site and scroll all the way down. And down here off the screen, I'll pull this up a little bit so you can see it. There's a little option here to click continue. On this screen then, I'm going to go through and select those things that I wish to import. And by way of import, these things will be fully replaced when I finish the import here. So normally I would just simply select the top button here. I would also note though that in some cases you may be importing content that doesn't actually exist. So for example, there's a syllabus tool that apparently is not in this current course site, but down here it says, no, if you choose to import content from the tools marked with a plus, which this one is, the tools will be added to your site. So in this particular course that I'm presently in, if we look at the tool set on the left here and we scroll down, there is not a syllabus tool, but there is a lesson area that's called syllabus. So these are not the exact same thing. For this case though, I'm going to go ahead and just leave all those things selected as they are. I'm actually going to uncheck this web content area just because that's something we don't need to import. And then I'm going to select finish. So right up on the screen then we get a notice that here that says your import process has been queued. That means it's been put in a stack of things to get done, and that we should receive an email with the import when it has finished in about 15 minutes or so. So typically what I'll try and do is I'll try and sort of just keep an eye on my email to see if that particular email comes in and lets me know, hey, the import process is finished. So I'll just kind of snap my fingers and look to see that that's done. And over here in my email, you can see that we've got a notification from the Sakai course sites, and it basically lets me know that the import has been completed. So now what we can do then is in the course, you can see nothing's changed except that when I click the overview button, we should now have a set of things that are in here. So in the gradebook, for example, we'll look there to see if there's anything that's in the gradebook. There's some content here in the gradebook already. You can see the assignments area. If we click, or the grades area, we can click on the assignments, and you can see there are several assignments that have been pulled in. Obviously, these are all set to draft because an import process does not recognize what the dates should be for the future upcoming course. So it imports all of those with all of those settings, including those due and open dates, but those are all set to draft so that those things can be sort of flagged for the instructor to make sure they update. From there then, it's basically a matter of just simply going through and prepping the course site. So this is how an instructor that teaches a face-to-face course and is slated to teach another upcoming face-to-face course, the same face-to-face course, would go about importing content from one of those sites, typically one in the past, to one that's upcoming in the future for which they have been recognized to be teaching for an upcoming term, and mostly strictly for face-to-face courses.